So hi everyone. So I'm going to conduct a demo on how ARP poisoning, which acts as a network sniffing strategy to intercept and analyze network traffic data and able to associate the data. So before I start, this is an overview of the network diagram for my demo, which is quite simple as this is to illustrate the concept of how network sniffing can associate data in the network. To conduct the attacker will need to be at the same local area network with the victim beforehand. So I use the following tools such as my Windows 10 VM as my victims and Kali Linux as my attacker to conduct the network sniffing process. So do take note of the IP addresses and MAC addresses of both the victims and my attacker. So I'm gonna use nmap to sniff for IP addresses and MAC addresses of the victims which is connected to the same network, and ethercaps to conduct the ARP poisoning, and lastly Wireshark to analyze the traffic that the attacker has sniffed. So let us get straight to the attack demo itself. So as you can see, on my left is my victim's host machine, which is trying to log into a web page with his username and password. On my right is my Kali Linux machine, which is the attacker trying to conduct a network sniffing attack. So first, we're gonna scan for our victim for their IP addresses and MAC addresses, as we're trying to simulate that we do not know the informations of the victims itself. So I'm gonna use nmap to sniff for those information such as the IP addresses and the MAC addresses of the victims. So this will be the command, and you can get all the hosts that is connected to this local network 192.168.100.0. So for this purpose of demo, I'm going to target this victim, so it's 192.168.100.6 and the MAC address as below. So these IP addresses and MAC addresses belong to these victims. So once you have gathered the IP addresses and MAC addresses of the victim, I'm going to enable IPv4 forwarding packets through these commands. So once I've enabled the IPv4 forwarding packets, I can commence my ARP poisoning with the usage of ethercaps. So I'm going to use the ethercap commands to able to execute my ARP poisoning attack. So this will be the commands to execute the ARP poisoning attack. So a little bit about this command is that -t, for this -t, it represents that it is for text only with no graphics. -s, as it do not use SSL for this demo. -i represent the interface, which is the ETH1. -m, which is the man-in-the-middle attack, and of course ARP remote. And this IP address will be the default router IP addresses, and lastly, which is the 192.168.100.6, which is the victim IP addresses that we have gathered through the nmap. So as you can see, these IP addresses is same as these IP addresses that we are trying to target to. So once we have the commands, we are able to commence the attack. As you can see, the attack is ongoing. So I'm gonna launch the Wireshark, which is able to sniff and gather all the network packets going through the network. So I'll direct it to ETH1, which is the interface. As you can see, all the network traffic is captured through the Wireshark sniffing tool. So at the same time, while the attack is ongoing, let's say our victim attempts to log into the web page. So we enter his credential, which is test for username, and ASD for the password. So once he log in, yes, he can successfully log into his account without knowing that his credential information is already being sniffed by the attacker and is already being captured through this Wireshark. So let us stop the attack for the ARP poisoning, and also stop the capture from the Wireshark. So now, we have gathered all the information and network traffic from the Wireshark. I have already stopped the capture of the Wireshark to enable us to analyze the network traffic to see what informations we are able to obtain. What information that we can obtain through this Wireshark. So first, you can notice that the IP addresses, so let us see, yes, you can notice the IP addresses of the victim have direct MAC address which belongs to the attacker MAC addresses. So as you can see, 192.168.100.6 is at this address, which is also this MAC address belongs to the attacker MAC address. This means that the attacker will be able to fool the web router and the victim to connect to the attacker machines instead, and able to sniff all communication between the web browser and the victim itself. Secondly, let us see what data can we exfiltrate through this network gathering. So I'm going to type in HTTP to look for HTTP packets to get the clear text of the informations. So once we go in, there's 4 packets for HTTP. So I will follow through and through HTTP stream to able to enable clear text of the informations. As you can see, we are able to see what the victim is trying to browse in the internet, such as trying to log into this login page. And also, we are able to see the username and the password that the victims have entered through the network sniffing when he logged in. So as you can see, the username and the password is being shown clearly. Enable the attacker to exfiltrate the data through the network sniffing via the Wireshark. That's all for my demo. Thank you.